Hi crafters, my name is Diane and today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful nativity piece using the Creekbank Creations A Savior is Born border die. This is the die set that I used. It's called A Savior is Born border die from Creekbank Creations, and it comes with a very large die that cuts it all out in one piece for the nativity scene, which can be used and was designed to put on a Z-fold card, which I'll show you a couple samples in a minute. It has two of the stars and it also has the sentiment, A Savior is Born. Here is just a couple of samples of what I created using the Savior is Born border die. That's one of them, and here is another one. So when you close it, you see just the manger, and when you open it up into the Z-fold, you have the donkey and the shepherd. And some of the other cards that we're doing, which we're going to be doing this one today, but I also did a couple other designs on that. I did one that says Merry Christmas, and it's in silver. I did one that has different colors of paper used on it. I placed some lights in the back of this card and I created a little tray. You can see in the bottom of this that there's a little tray so that I could put some multicolor lights down inside of this and make my background light up. We're not going to be able to see the lighting very good right now because it's obviously too much bright lights from my videoing, but I am going to insert a video now that's going to show you what the lights look like when the lights are dimmed. So now we're going to create a base. The base is going to look like almost a little tray, which will hold the lights in there so that if you choose to put lights behind your scene, you can do that. And to start the base, we are going to cut a piece of paper that is 8 by 6.5 inches. This is just my little template that I put instructions on so I wouldn't forget how I did this. So now I have my scoreboard and I have cut a piece of paper that is 8 by 6.5. I'm going to lay the 8-inch side up along the top of my scoreboard, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch, turn it over, and we're going to score it at 1 inch. So now I have a 1-inch score line on each side of my paper. Then I'm going to turn it so that my 6.5 inch side is up along my top edge. And now I am going to score it at 4 1/4 and at 5 1/2. Then I'm going to go up to my 3 1/4 and I'm going to score just a small line only down to my score line. I'm going to flip my paper over. I'm going to go at 3 1/4 and I'm going to score only down to my score line. It's hard to see the score lines on this red piece of paper, so I'm going to go back to my template, and you'll be able to see on the template where the score lines were. So we went 1 inch, 1 inch, we flipped our paper, and we went the 4 1/4, 5 1/2, and this is that little line I told you that we are going to go back to the 3 1/4, and we're going to go just to the score line. So on each side. So we flip it and we go 3 1/4 just to the score line. And that now I'm going to cut out just this area only. This largest rectangle that is on my piece of paper, I'm going to cut out. So I've got my scissors. I'm going to go back to my red piece of paper and I'm going to cut out the longest rectangle right on the score line. So I'm going to cut it out on that score line and that score line, and I'm going to do it on both sides. So again, I'm going to cut out right on my score line and here. So now we have two rectangle pieces that are cut completely out of our base. Now we are going to take our scissors and we're going to make tabs. So we're going to go right on our score line and we're going to cut down to the first score line. We're going to turn it over. We're going to do the same thing. Come up on our bottom score line and cut it up to the score line. On this sheet here, where you can see the lines a little better, we're taking it from here up to the score line. That's all I'm cutting. So I'm going from there up to the score line. Then I'm going to take from here and go down to the score line. I'm going to take here and go down to the score line. Now I've created a couple of tabs here, and this is how we're going to put our box together. So now I'm going to take and fold all my score lines. So I'm just going to fold my score lines forward, my little tabs forward, go back, fold that score line up, this one up, this one up, open it up, fold it this way, open it up, fold it this way. Okay, and now we're going to put tape or adhesive. I would suggest that you put glue on it. I'm just going to use tape so we can go a little bit faster here right now, but we're going to, I would put glue on these tabs because it'll hold better. Now that our four corners are taped, we are ready to put together our tray. So now we simply just pick it up and we squeeze together these two tabs, and we are going to put the first tab to the back side of our card. The order you do it does not matter. We're going to take the next tab and we're going to put it to the front side of our tray. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite end. I'm going to squeeze the tabs in a little bit, stick them in here, adhere it to the back side, and then take and adhere it to the front side. So now we have created a tray in which we can stick our lights in so that when we put our scene on the front of the card, the lights can light up in the back, leaving an awesome effect. So the next thing I did was I took a piece of Creekbank Creations Sky 6x6 paper pad, and I chose to use, we have skies in there and we have stars, so I chose to use one of the star patterns, and I cut that at 6 by 5 1/4. So, and then I'm going to, I already pre-taped it for us, so I'm going to stick that right down here inside of that tray and up against the back, and I'm going to press it in there. And now I have my background that I'm going to use for my nativity scene. And the back of it does come a little bit above the base, but that's okay because this is just like cardstock, so it doesn't hurt a thing. It's plenty sturdy enough. And you can choose to make that shorter or taller. For this particular scene, I chose that just because I wanted it to be a little bit taller than my manger. So on this particular one, I cut the sky paper at 6 by 5 1/4. So the next thing I'm going to do is die cut out this one large piece, and I'm going to do it all in silver just for video purposes so that it will take less time. Okay, so now I've die cut that piece out in all silver, and I'm actually going to put my red background back in here because it's a little bit easier to see it on top of red background. So I have my piece die cut. Now you're going to see that the piece is too long for the tray that we have built. If you were doing the Z-fold card, it's perfect. This is the size that you need for the Z-fold card. But because I've improvised it and I'm going to put it on top of this card, what I'm going to do is just simply cut it and make it fit. So to cut it, all I'm going to do is make one cut near the manger scene. This doesn't have to be perfect. One cut on each side of the shepherd and the lamb, And then I'm actually going to, because I'm going to put my donkey down lower, I'm actually going to cut my donkey off right at his feet. I'm not cutting his feet off, I'm just cutting him right where he connects to it. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to place, I would use glue again, but I'm going to use tape just because it's faster. I'm going to put tape on the front side of the bottom of these pieces. The manger scene. Okay, and now I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to put it on the back of my donkey. So I'm just going to simply take a glue dot and put it on the back of my donkey. So I'm going to have my pieces all ready to insert into my box. So now I'm going to come back over here to the base that we just made. And I'm going to take the Nativity manger set. I'm going to hold it right up against the front part of this right here. So I'm going to hold this right up against the front part and I'm going to press it and make that, whoops, I'm not going to do that without taking my tape off. How silly of me. Okay, now we're going to press it up there. So now we're going to take and we're going to press it right up. So now that sticks onto the front. I'm going to take my shepherd and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to place it in here, pull it up forward, and just stick it onto my base. So now you can see that that is now secured to the front side. And then I'm just going to take and put the words on the front of it, "A Savior is Born." Actually, this red paper is not showing up good now. So now I've cut out the sentiment that says "A Savior is Born," which comes in the set. And in the set, it comes as one solid piece. So you could put that up here, or you could put it somewhere else on your piece of work that you're doing. I wanted it to go across here, so what I did is I just simply took and just cut the adjoining parts apart. So I cut the A, and then I place it on the front, and then I cut it between the V and the B. So there's Savior, and then between the is and the born. I'm just putting this on here quickly. I obviously would put it on a little more straight, but I'm just doing this for video purposes so we don't take so long. And then I took my donkey and I placed my donkey on here that we already put a glue dot on the back of. And now I have basically have this completed, other than we would take and we would put our lights into the back of it. So I would set my lights down in here. And then my card will reflect the lights as you saw in the video, and it makes a beautiful nativity set. I purchased these mini multicolor changing lights from Amazon. They were called submersible lights, but anything that you would get that would have a diameter that's no more than 1.25 inches. An inch is the best. 1.25 inches works. And like 3/4 inch tall would work in the card. It doesn't have to be this exact light. This just happens to be what I found, and they weren't very expensive. So this is what I chose to put in the back of my card. There is also other types that you can get from Michael's or Joann Fabrics too, that will do it. So that's the one we created today. Here's the one that I created before. And now that you have seen how I took the scene and we cut it apart, I did this one in multiple different colors. So you can do them in multiple different colors. You can do them in shiny paper. This one I did in copper, silver, gold, and a platinum color. And this one I did put the words Merry Christmas. That also is a Creekbank Creations die. And you can find That die, you can find the Nativity and the sky paper by going to www.creekbankcreations.com, and you can also visit their Creekbank Creations Pinterest page to see more cards that have been created with their products. I hope you have enjoyed this video and have a great day.